Hey, how's it going, everybody? Simple Duck here, and I want to talk to you guys today about weapon setups, and specifically for Magicka builds. But as most of you guys know, I do Magicka Nightblade, and my last build, I did a build called the Flamethrower. If you guys haven't seen that one, there's a link down in the description. Go check it out. It's a really fun build to play, but it got me thinking. The weapon setup for that build is very unique, and it really got me wanting to try out some other weapon setups and see what kind of combinations of enchants and traits would kind of benefit you the most. And I got some pretty interesting results, so let's go ahead and jump into those real quick. Okay, so in that video I used an infused weapon. Now, I used infused because it went really well with the 5-piece set that I was using. But like I said, it got me thinking, and I tried out some other ones. Now, everybody's main go-to is sharpened. And after a lot of testing, and you guys can actually, you guys are actually watching some of my testing right here, but after a lot of testing, there's a good reason why everybody goes with sharpened. Sharpened definitely outputs the most damage. The spell penetration that you get from that is just, you just can't beat it. It's too good. It's almost to the point where other traits are almost so far behind that they need to fix it. But that's not why we're here. I want to talk to you guys about traits and different weapon setups that you can try. My favorite thing that I'm running right now, and it's stuff that I've been testing and trying to figure out things to get ready for Morrowind, but what I'm running right now that is hands down, it's my favorite, I'm having so much fun with it, is using a sharpened staff with a shock enchant. Now, why shock? Through this testing, I've found out that I like using an elemental enchant far better than a spell damage enchant, and let me tell you guys why. So it may be different for other classes. I'm not an expert on all the classes, but for the Magic Nightblade, if you go with the spell damage enchant on your weapon, it makes your stat sheet look a lot nicer and you get a bigger number to look at and brag about, but the overall damage output of 348 spell damage, it's not huge. It's not huge. Now, it does increase everything, but if you have an elemental damage enchant on there, it goes off pretty often. I mean, the cooldown's not very long, and they're only 4 seconds. So you're getting, instead of a couple hundred damage on a skill, you're getting 2 to 3k damage every 4 seconds, which I like that. It gives you that kind of bam, that little surprise burst damage that they're not expecting, and it's not huge, but it is something. Now, why shock? Well, as some of you might know, shock got changed a couple patches ago, and now it gives you minor vulnerability on the target, which means that you're going to do 8% more damage to that target. So if you take a sharpened weapon, you're all, from what I've found out, what I like, you're doing more damage to the target just by having an elemental enchant on there. Over the course of a fight, you're doing more damage. And now you add this extra 8% damage on top of that. It's huge. That's so much extra damage that you're gonna do. And shock enchants are cheap. Nobody uses them, so everybody's just throwing them out there. You can buy them on guild stores for super cheap, and they work great, and you get that buff. Now, the minor vulnerability, for some reason that word is hard for me to say because I've been saying it so many times today, but it doesn't just buff you. If you're running with a group, or say for later on you're in a battleground and you're with your team or whatever, it's just a debuff on the target. So everyone that hits that target is doing more damage. So if you're out and about playing with an organized group and you're calling out targets, if you're on a target with other people, they're going to do more damage because of you. So the shock enchant is amazing. Now, let's do this on a budget. So let's say you either can't afford or you haven't been able to get a drop on that sharpened weapon that you want. How do you still put out good damage for cheap? Well, if you're looking for a drop, you're gonna kind of be stuck with whatever you get, but this trait might drop for you. If you're buying, this trait is gonna be super cheap and it's gonna give you a great result. So what would I suggest? Now you can go with Precise. I tested that and it did well, but if you just want to increase your base damage and still help the group out, get Charged. Sounds weird, right? I thought that too, but hear me out. And again, you're looking at some of my testing right now, and hopefully right now I'll show the clip where I'm testing Charged out. And you can see here that with Charged on a Destro staff, because of the passives for both of those, the trait and for the Destro, it's always up. That 8% extra damage, it's always there. So if you have something like Elemental Drain, or as a Nightblade we have Mark Target, if you use that in combination with this Charged trait, that is amazing. That's almost 100% uptime on the shock status effect. There we go, the shock status effect concussion. It's almost 100% uptime. You got an 84% chance of proccing it. And you can see that, I mean, it went off every time that it was ready. Every time. The chance is so high, so you always have that extra 8% damage for you and for your whole group. And charged weapons are super cheap. You can get them for nothing. People will probably just give them to you for a lot of sets. So if you want my opinion, the most fun thing for me for Magic Nightblade PvP is sharpened with the shock enchant. And if you need to go budget, throw Elemental Drain on there to supplement, to kind of take over for sharpened trait, and go with charged. It's a lot of fun. You're going to do a lot of extra damage. You're going to benefit the whole team, and I think you'll enjoy it. So leave a comment down below if this helped you out, if you're looking forward to giving it a try, and give it a thumbs up if it did help you out. Until next time, guys, take it easy.